remember, the hip is the hip joint, and then the pelvis is the pelvic girdle. So we want to make sure, number one, we stabilize properly. So when we're going to stabilize, if this is a hip, if it's the hip joint, we are literally coming up here and stabilizing on one side. If it's the pelvis, we're going to stabilize with both sides. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay, so once we do that, we stabilize, we expose, we assess, we do pulse motor sensory. If it's a pelvis, definitely we're going to make sure we do pulse motor sensory on both sides right here. Then we're going to set up to do the binder, okay, the pelvic binder. In doing that, you're going to need 4 cravats, all right? The 4 cravats that we're going to utilize, you're going to use 2 above the knee and 2 below the knee. So in this process, I will literally slide these underneath just using the knee. I can just kind of slip those under here. If you want, you can also use a board to push them through, just however you want to do that. So go ahead and stabilize for me. There we go. We assessed. We do our pulse motor sensory, all that good stuff. Now I bring these 2 cravats underneath. Where did you go? There you go. All right. I'm going to scissor this down. Notice we're putting the cravats in before we put the blanket in. You'll see why in just a minute. All right, both of those are under the knee. Then we're going to come in with 2. Like I said, you can use, just feed them, or if you want, you have a board accessible. You just simply take these on, slide it underneath. The knees. Okay. Slide these 2 up, just like that. All right, now what we got to do is we have to take the blanket. The whole idea here is we got to take up this excess space. Note we're wider at the feet than we are up high. So we're going to take our blanket, fold it accordingly to help us with that. And there's no set rule, just you got to kind of get a little creative when you do this. There we go. That's going to be long enough. All right. So we'll fold this over a couple of times. And what we're doing is just creating bulk. Now it's got to be skinnier up here, so if I fold a little extra down here, what that allows me to do is put the bulk down here and the skinny there. All right. So you're stabilizing the whole, there you go with your hands. Good. And we're going to bring this in and we're going to just basically slide this blanket right straight down here. And once again, we got the bulk of it right here. Now, if we tie distal to proximal like we normally do, if you do this, it can make the hips flare, which would be bad. It could be painful for the patient. So we want to start up high. So this is basically going to tie right smack dab over the blanket. So we're just going to simply bring these up, surgeon's knot, and a safety. We're going to work our way proximal to distal. Once again, the first 2 are above the knee. Second 2 are below the knee. Okay. All right. So that's the basic tie. Then from there, what we're going to have to do is get them on the scoop stretcher. Remember, we're going to maintain our stabilization through the process. Now, we have to get our scoop and our spider straps or your 9-foot strap. Remember on the scoop stretcher, to operate this, there's a little tab right here on the side. Okay? So you have to pull this tab and that's going to release. You do this on both sides. In doing that, this is going to be near the head section. This will be the foot section. Don't pass anything over the patient. We're going to pass that around. Go ahead and bring us over there. We want to start with the head section. So let's go ahead and bring that in. So for instructional purposes, I want you to just kind of move and we want to show what we got here. Okay. So on the head section, what we want to make sure is the head hits right here. So the head needs to be here just below this first spot. So we're going to take the top of the head, make sure that this is sitting right here. Now remember, this patient that's what's hurting. If he can raise his head, he can help us a little bit, right? Remember, you can take this patient, you can move about an inch. You could roll just an inch, or you could lift. That's another option. You can do a straddle lift and lift this patient straight up and right back down. That's another option. So watch their head when you're doing this. Okay, go ahead and lay your head back down. All right, and you guys are going to take and you're going to push in. So I'm going to get on this side here. Now when you push this thing, what you can do is you can slip your hands under, which will create a natural inclined plane, right? And you slip your hands under and push, okay? And this is already a plane, okay? So we're going to get that one in first, then we'll attach this one. All right, so I'm going to pull just suddenly. Remember, this is a hip injury, right? All right, so I'm going to just kind of pull a little. I'm not putting pressure on the hip here, and you can help as well, or I put two people over here. And go ahead and push that. Okay. Got her underneath there. Beautiful. All right, now we're going to click the top first. So I'm going to slide this under the shoulder. Now you guys can use your hands as well. And once again, give me a high and a low above and below the hip. And you can come over here and cross your hands right there as well. And we're not much. I'm talking just a little bit. Okay, where's my board? And I'm going to bring these two together ever so gently. I think we've got the towel in between us there. There he goes. There we go. All right. Now he's attached, right? Or he's on the board. So from this point, you can use the spider straps or the 9-foot strap. Spider straps, remember when we put these on, we're going to do the chest or the shoulder straps first, then the feet, and then we'll work ourselves. Basically here we're going to do the chest. Okay, make sure we don't get the chest too tight so they can breathe. Okay, then the hips and here, but make sure we don't put that strap over the hips. The other option we have is the 9-foot strap that works well also. When you do this, you're going to start with a buckle on the chest, and then we're going to feed it, cross over, come down. We'll put them together. So let's go ahead and do that one. So just hold that buckle for me right there. Make sure this buckle goes right on top of the blanket, not on top of the legs, okay? All right, so go through here. Can you get me a trauma dressing to stick underneath this, please? It's just like a knot, right? Beautiful, that'll work. So we're going to put this underneath that. Okay, can you take a deep breath for me, sir? Okay. Okay, another deep breath. All right. Pull this X up. Pull this X up. Pull this up. And we're going to cinch down. And now we have them secured. So that's your 9-foot strap. Chest buckle, cross down, down. And this can shift a little bit, once again, depending on where the injury is. Maybe we could have shifted down and hit down here, and that would have dropped it down and been less pressure there, etc. Okay? That's the 9-foot strap.